Now, in an iProperty survey done last year, Singaporeans are the most interested to buy overseas. 36% of all Singaporeans want to invest overseas. 1 in every 3 Singaporeans want to buy overseas. Now, buy where? Malaysia is the number 1 choice. 42% want to invest in Malaysia. More than 3 times Australia. Now, why invest Malaysia? First reason, exchange rate is in my favor. 36%. 1 Sing dollar, 2.5, 2.6 ringgit. So your buying power is very strong in Malaysia. Next reason, 34%. I expect to migrate or retire to Malaysia in the future. So actually, quite a lot of people in Singapore are thinking about migrating or retiring in Malaysia one day. At direct translation, that's about 11% of all respondents. Quite significant number. Can you imagine 11% of people in Singapore thinking about migrating or retiring to Malaysia one day? So other reasons why they go to Malaysia, Singapore prices are very high. We are at historical highs for Singapore property prices. Singapore also has lots of regulation that makes it very difficult to buy property, very expensive to buy property, a lot of stamp duties, and a lot of restrictions in getting financing. Now Malaysia, financing is relatively relaxed. You can get 70% financing for multiple properties, not just 1, not just 2, maybe 3, 4 properties. I have a client, Singaporean, 5th property in Malaysia, number 5, 70% loan, just got it from public bank. So it's quite possible to get high margin financing in Malaysia. Now as high as 80 to 85% financing for first time buyers in Malaysia. The other key thing is foreigners can buy and sell freely. Now, some people like to say that Malaysia makes it very difficult for foreigners to buy property. Actually, that's a myth. Very, very big myth. The only regulation that you face as a foreign investor is that you have to buy property above 1 million ringgit price. Above 1 million ringgit, Malaysian ringgit price range. You cannot buy anything below. That is the only restriction. Otherwise, you can buy condominiums, you can buy apartments, you can buy landed property, you can buy freehold, you can buy leasehold. You can buy, even buy land. You can buy today, sell tomorrow for completed property. There are no restrictions to who you can sell to. You can sell to Malaysians, you can sell to Singaporeans, you can sell to Americans. There is no restriction. Only restriction if you sell to other foreigners is 1 million ringgit price range. You compare that to Thailand. Thailand, you can only buy condo. Indonesia, you can't buy, foreigners not allowed to buy any property. Australia, you can only buy new, you cannot buy resale. Australia, you can only sell to locals. So compared to other countries, actually Malaysia is very, very foreigner friendly. Now, we like to call Iskandar Malaysia's Shenzhen in reference to Shenzhen in China. Now why we say that? Because we look at prices in Shenzhen, they are as high as Beijing. Now Beijing, see here, Shenzhen prices as high as Beijing. Now Beijing is the capital of China. Why is Shenzhen prices so high? Basically Shenzhen prices are high because Shenzhen is next to Hong Kong. Hong Kong has done very well as an economy, so Hong Kong become expensive. When Hong Kong become expensive, people from Hong Kong go to Shenzhen to live, go to Shenzhen to work, go to Shenzhen to do business. So same thing you are seeing with Singapore and Iskandar. You see Shenzhen 20, 30 years ago was we call it a backwater town. But 30 years later, Shenzhen has become a booming metropolis. Why? Because again, Shenzhen become expensive, people go over to Shenzhen to live, work and do business. And other people from other parts of China, from Shanghai, from Beijing, from Chengdu, all move to Shenzhen because of a lot of economic activity created in Shenzhen. So same thing you will see Iskandar, Singapore next few years. Singapore economy doing very well. Singapore become expensive. People from Singapore go to Iskandar to live, to work, to do business. People from other parts of Malaysia come to Iskandar to tap on all these growing business opportunities. Now you look at Singapore. Now last year, the Singapore government did a white paper And the white paper say that we're going to target 6.9 million people in Singapore, okay, by 2030. Okay, so Singapore today has about 5.3 million people. They're going to add another 1.5 to 1.6 million in the next few years to 2030. Okay, and when this white paper was released, what was the reaction of the Singapore public? People get angry. I say MRT is full of people. HDB want to buy, cannot get the ballot. Okay, property is too expensive. The roads are full of cars, and you still want to add 1/million people onto this island. Okay, people get angry because, right, there's a fear of overcrowding, concern of overcrowding. Well, Singapore has not yet become like Hong Kong, okay, but definitely we are somewhat moving in that direction, or people are worried that we're moving in that direction. So even in Singapore, okay, golf courses are not safe. Okay, the Singapore government is taking back golf course, correct? Singapore Island Country Club is losing entire 18 holes. Why? To do what? Conversion into residential land. Okay, one day there may not be any more golf course in Singapore. Okay, we have to go over to Johor to play golf. Okay. Now, the Prime Ministers of Malaysia and Singapore, PM Najib and PM Lee, are now very good friends. Okay, relations between Singapore and Malaysia have never been better. Now, ever since the Tanjong Pagar land swap in 2010, okay, both governments are working very well with one another. Okay, now last year, Singapore and Malaysia announced the Singapore to KL high-speed rail. Okay, this is a high-speed rail similar to what you see in Japan and China. Okay, KL to Singapore in 90 minutes. Okay, that is the plan by the year 2020, another 6 years from now. And this high-speed train is expected to pass by Nusa Jaya, which is Zone B Iskandar, which means this train or this train station will be only about 10 to 15 minutes drive away from Puteri Cove Residences, because the train will pass nearby. Okay? Now, what is this train? Basically, it's a fast train that KL to Singapore. Okay? Another slower train that stops along the major cities. Okay? And the other train that we're going to talk about is what we call the Singapore Thomson MRT, okay, which is the next MRT line being planned by the Singapore government. Now, Thomson MRT, the first phase is these 3 stations up here: Woodlands North, Woodlands, and Woodlands South. Completion in 2019-2020. Okay, here will be the connection into Johor Bahru City Centre. This is the second train after the high-speed rail train. Okay, now if you look at Singapore's Land Transport Master Plan 2013, now Singapore has a Land Transport Authority, LTA. Now LTA prepares this master plan, which was the latest copy last year, 2013. Now this master plan, okay, mentions Singapore JB RTS Link Rapid Transit System. This is the MRT line from the Singapore Thomson MRT. The second one is KL Singapore High Speed Rail. KL Singapore High Speed Rail. So these 2 train projects are mentioned in the Singapore LTA master plan. Okay, why I highlight this slide is to show you that it's being planned by the Singapore government. It's in the Singapore government infrastructure plans. Okay, not only LTA, URA, Urban Redevelopment Authority of Singapore, also mentions it in their 2013 master plan. Okay, this slide, Woodlands North, cross-border rail link to Johor. There's actually one more slide for the one at Tuas. Okay, so LTA is planning for it, URA is planning for it. Why I like to show this slide is because Singapore government say they will do means something will happen in the next 5 years or so. Okay, the train may not complete next 5 years, but construction, launch, will definitely happen next 5 years because it's in the LTA and URA master plan. Okay, now you look at Ministry of National Development. This is our housing minister's ministry, Paul Boon Wan. Last year, December, there was a press release. The press release actually has only 3 key points. Okay, key point number 1, set up of working committee for high-speed rail. Singapore government has a bunch of people working on the high-speed rail. Point number 2, review of progress on Singapore JB RTS, including engineering study phase 1. That means the train into town centre already has an engineering study. Okay, it's not just a drawing, engineering study. And third point, identify and agree option on RTS by end of 2014. By end of this year. That means the Singapore government and the Malaysian government will confirm the train alignment by end of this year. Okay, so things are moving. Okay, it's not just a plan, things are moving. Both governments are working on the trains. Okay, now back to the Tuas train, second link. Now the Tuas, this is the immigrations and customs complex at Tuas, second link bridge. Now Singapore government is also building another MRT station over here at Tuas, okay, which will once completed only 600 meters away from the immigration and customs. Right? If you look at the picture of the site, you can see that the MRT station is already being built, and you can see that lorry and buses direct into the immigration checkpoint. Now this is actually an extension of the east-west line, where Jukun is the last station. 4 more stations all the way to this station, which is called Tuas Link. Okay, when this is completed, what is the significance? You can take an MRT from Raffles Place all the way to Tuas, the Singapore border. Singapore border, board a bus, enter Johor. You save easily 30 minutes travel time going into Johor. Very, very interesting. Okay, you can board the MRT all the way to the border, enter Johor. Okay, today it don't bring you to the border. Today the MRT stops at Jurong East. Most people go down at Jurong East or go down at Boon Lay, then take a bus bring you to border, then bus cross into Johor. So still a lot of travel time, but this one when completed, direct to the Singapore border. Okay, very important. Now the other highlight is the what we call the Puteri Harbour International Ferry Terminal. Now this is, as you can see, an international ferry terminal that goes international destinations. Now open since 2012 or 2013, sorry. And this ferry terminal is the only one in Johor. There's none in Danga Bay, there's none in the sea centre. Only Puteri Harbour has it. Okay, and this ferry terminal goes where? It goes to Batam in Indonesia, also goes to Tanjung Balai in Indonesia today. And we're expecting this ferry to go to Singapore Harbourfront by end 2014. Okay, and eventually also to Singapore Marina Bay. Okay, travel time between Harbourfront to Puteri Harbour about 1 hour estimated travel time. Okay, 1 hour to me is actually very fast because you go around Singapore Island direct to the heart of the Singapore city. 1 hour travel time, no traffic jams. Okay, so already operational since last year.